And when they are productive, automatically it cushions the effect of whether fuel or no fuel. When the people have the money to spend, we are feeling it like this because there's no money anywhere. The government should intentionally manage this tax issue, reduce it to the barest minimum. Enugu has not been this dirty. So what do we expect from him? We want a change in terms of administration, in terms of economic growth.
People will say the insecurity in Enugu, the incessant sit at home on Mondays.
Enugu people want a situation where after 3 years, after 4 years, they can point at one industry, two industries, that this is as a result of this administration. This is what this person has brought.
My name is Chikezie Ogbonna O, and this is The Conversation. Hello everyone, my name is Chikezie Ogbonna O, COO. Welcome to The Conversation. With me in the maiden edition of The Conversation is my brother Jude, who is Enugu-based journalist and media practitioner and very passionate about the growth of this country. Welcome, Jude.
Thank you.
Now, in this, we are going to give a relative overview of what is happening, and already we have a new government in place. We have the government of Barrister Mbah of Enugu State, and already we all know Bola Ahmed Tinubu is now the president of the country, and the ball has been set rolling. And already we've seen policies, we've seen things that have already started shaking the system and all those things. But first of all, we are going to focus our discussion on Enugu State. Enugu State has actually been on a threshold for so long. There has been so many levels of maladministration, and there's a lot of hope for this government. So Jude, I don't know what's your take on this government, and what do you think should be our expectation when it comes to Mbah and his administration?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me in the studio this morning. I am grateful. On the issue at hand, I think it's about the goodwill of the people. I'll start with what happened under the past administration. Ifeanyi Ogbonna came in 2015, as a very popular individual, a very popular candidate of the PDP. People loved him. There was this high expectation.
The goodwill was there.
The goodwill was there. He had the backing of the people, A lot of expectations. We felt his coming in will usher in a new phase of development in Enugu State. But as this rolled by, instead of going forward, it seemed as if things were going backward. I won't take it away from him. He did his best, especially in the rural areas. He did marvelously well, but he still didn't meet up with the people. Some people blamed it on his media personnel, people who handled his media. They were not able to market him well, but still there were areas where he just fell short. Things we could see. We expected industries. We expected different levels of development. Things we can see. It should just not just be business as usual. So, and fast forward to 2023, Mbah is in, and from the look of things, you see this goodwill of the people. At least the way he started. A lot of persons didn't want him, but the way he started, I think a lot of persons are now expecting something different. They're seeing him as a technocrat. They're seeing him as somebody who has that knowledge, who has a plan to execute. And there's this expectation, this growing expectation. So what do we expect from him? We want a change in terms of administration. In terms of economic growth. Enugu people want a situation where after 3 years, after 4 years, they can point at one industry, two industries, you know, that this is as a result of this administration. This is what this person has brought. You know, things we never had before. You know, those are the things we expect. We expect good governance. We expect industries. We expect a turnaround in the economic fortunes of the people.
Yeah.
Let government trickle down. You know, we want to see tangible things that are done that you can point at and say,
this is,
you know, things we can
exactly.
we can touch, we can feel. So I think that is basically what we're asking for, what Enugu people are asking for, and what we expect.
You know, Enugu, being a cosmopolitan state, Enugu is much more like, he's not even much more like, it's the capital of the Igbo man. Igbo man, every Igbo man has an interest in Enugu. Every Igbo man, I still believe that every Igbo man has a stake in Enugu. And then seeing the whole beautiful promises made by Peter Mbah. Fortunately, I was opportune to be the guy behind the camera when we went to interview him some time ago, and I saw the man espousing these beautiful ideas, and you see this deep-seated passion in him, and you see that this man, based on what we noticed that day, this man wants to, you know, reflect whatever gain that he has garnered in the oil and gas industry, being a successful entrepreneur. So what do you think should be the first thing this administration should start doing? Because this, by Monday, it will be his first week in office. First week in his office. Well, what do you think should be the first thing he should start doing? You know, people will say the insecurity in Enugu, the incessant sit at home on Mondays. You know, it's easier to tell people, why sitting at home? Why don't you come out? But we all know the pervading fear, the uncertainties, and then people wouldn't want to die for nothing now. So how do you think, what do you think should be the first thing he should do? And once he does this thing, people will start having this conviction that this man means business. Let's give him support.
Well, you know, governance is not just about what someone says.
Yeah.
It's action. You know, I've listened to him. I've listened to Peter Mbah on several occasions. I've covered him on several occasions, and once you hear him, you see that yes, this guy has a plan. You know, there's something about this guy. It seems like someone who knows what he wants to do. You know, I may not be the one to tell him exactly where to start from, but as someone who has lived in Enugu for several years, Enugu has not been this dirty.
Yes.
You know, and we're talking about something that can be seen. It's not just about the entire governance. It's about creating confidence.
Yeah.
You know, if he cleans up Enugu in the next 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, you know, people will start hailing him. You know, it will be evident. It will be clear for everybody to see. If he cleans up Enugu, if he's able to reduce the rate at which people's bags are snatched, you know, there are several incidences of armed men going into people's shops to collect their money, their belongings, you know, taking people's properties and gunpoint in different places. It happens everywhere. You know, you enter Keke and you don't come out the way you entered. You know,
and it's becoming so crazy.
And it's becoming rampant. You know, it's everywhere. One of my colleagues, after a meeting of the NUJ last week, I guess, he just trekked down from the press center to Okpara Square, and from nowhere, people surrounded the guy from ESBS, the other person from NTA. They were attacked. They cut his head, you know, took their phones, collected their monies, you know, injured them. Just like that, Okpara Square there. So it's not something that happens in Ababa or Gariki, or it's here, it's inside town. So that will tell you what people in the outskirts are facing. So if he's able to do something, I don't know, collaborate with the security agencies and get these things done, you know. And again, another area that people are suffering and nobody seems to be saying anything is taxation. The people, touts, people they call agbero, they are everywhere. And it's killing businesses. People are suffering. You know, even people, these women that come out to sell mango, sell little things, they are taxed. They are forced to pay. Some of them two different taxes, 3 different taxes on a daily basis.
Multiple taxation that government doesn't even know
about. A lot of touts collecting money from people, and it's everywhere. You know, if you can stop all those things, you know, it's not about stopping it entirely, but for now, you stop it and then regularize tax collection in Enugu State. Let there be a channel and let everybody know, okay, you own a shop, this is what you're paying. And let it not be a burden on the people. We are facing a lot of things already.
A lot of things.
The
other day he said something on his inauguration speech. One of the striking statements he made was that he's going to tackle insecurity as a matter of urgency. And then he said, one thing about Peter Mbah is when he says he's going to do this thing, he tries to give ways he's going to do it. He said he's going to engage rural community policing, and he's going to not only rural community policing, but generally community policing. And then he said he's going to engage vigilantes and all this thing. Do you think it's tenable to have vigilantes? Because right now in Enugu, what is tenable? Everybody's locking their streets. Once it's 8:30 p.m., you can't pass through certain streets. Yeah. And then sometimes it becomes annoying. Sometimes when you have serious emergencies, you won't leave you will be thinking, how are you going to navigate through these things? So do you think this community policing could be effective? And yes, this is not the first time. Successive administrations has always said community policing, community policing, community policing. But what do you think? Do you think there should be another dimension to do this thing so that we'll see the impact of this community policing? Because whether we like it or not, the governor has no power on the police. He can only provide certain infrastructures, but they are still controlled from the federal level. So how much do you think we can tackle insecurity, not just in Enugu, but across the 5 southeastern states?
Well, the issue of insecurity is the problem we have is that we are always reactionary when it comes to the issue of security. You know, we want to arm people, give them guns, give them knives, you know, to fight these robbers and all those things. While even the people you are arming are hungry. So at the end, you've just empowered them to commit more crime. So the issue of security, it should start with making people's lives better. Giving them this financial empowerment. We are talking about, Mbah talked about economic growth, you know, moving people from poverty to wealth, you know, creating wealth, a lot of things. He said a lot of things.
Increasing the IGR of
Enugu State, saying another. So if the people are empowered financially, that alone can cut down insecurity, let me not exaggerate, by 50%. Because people will have something, meaningful things they are doing. Not by touting, not by, they don't see it as, you know, maybe you have to force people to get what they have, or for you to make a living, you have to go out and force people to collect what they have. You know, if there's this policy, he talked about, he said a lot of things actually about empowerment. You know, skills, acquisition, a lot of things. So it is because the government has failed in providing security for the people. That is why people resort to self-help. That is what you see in different streets. In my own area, once it's 10 o'clock, the gate is locked. And before you come in, you have to sweat it out with the security guys. You know, and people are just using self-help. Let people, engage people. When you've done this, then the community policing will work.
Exactly. Now, Jude, let's look at this angle now. There are policies made by the outgone governments of Ugwuanyi. There's actually very workable. For example, any cleaning projects, I see that as 100% success. Like, these guys are very, very active. I walk out every morning, 5 a.m., see these guys sweeping the streets. Do you think what will be your advice? Because I feel that these guys their role needs to be expanded. Because I can remember in 2000 and that should be in 2019, 2018, 2019. There was a rally they held here at Holy Ghost, and one of the things the director read out was for street lights to be provided for the sweepers, because I noticed most of them sweep in darkness, and then they use their phone touch to do all those things. So what do you think? What are those, apart as with this Enugu cleaning team project, are there other policies and initiatives of the past government you think Peter Mbah could maintain and improve on? And then what are the other ones you think that they should totally take off, because the essence of having it is almost defeated?
Well, the cleaning, what is it called?
Enugu clean team project.
Clean team, yes. I think Ogbonna struck a master stroke there. It's a very beautiful policy. Aside the money that those people receive, taking away some financial burden from them, but because it's something they do and still go about their normal business. Very early in the morning, they do that, and that would have cleaned up Enugu. Enugu wouldn't have been as dirty as it is if not for the issue of evacuation. So waste evacuation was the major failure on the part of the past administration. Effective waste evacuation. These people gather the dirt, put them there in the bins, and they are left there to rot. So if Mbah can bring in maybe a company or I don't know the means he wants to do it, that will be evacuating these waste. And then hire more persons, bring in more persons into the clean team. Possibly upgrade their pay, so that, there's this thing about the salary, wages, and the effectiveness of what someone is doing. If you're paying someone well, you expect more from the person.
Yeah.
So, upwardly review how much they receive, then make sure that once they gather these things, they are evacuated. It gives them the courage to even do more, to come out. And then, just as you said, the street lights, I believe it's something he should tackle. A lot of the street lights are not working. Tackle them so that they do this thing. Provide safety, provide security, give them the tools if there is any need for it. Provide tools, because I've noticed that these people do the work. I don't think they were given any tools. I think they just use what they have.
I don't, because I know Abinisha they were giving tools, but now with time, the tools we wear off, and what are the replacement plans and all those things.
So I think with that, the clean team or the state will be as clean as possible. Then another idea, another policy of Ogbonna that really had very good intention was the MOT guys, the Ministry of Transportation. A very nice body that was created to take care of traffic issues, traffic congestions, and a lot of things in the state. Mbah needs to rejig that. It's not about scrapping it. A lot of people have seen it as just a group of persons who are out there to collect money from people, and that is almost what they do. They catch you, you negotiate, you pay, and you go. It's working because a lot of persons are afraid to fall into their trap, but they know you can buy them. And in some other places, like in places that are usually congested, let's take for instance Apapa. You see MOT guys there, they are just looking at drivers doing nonsense.
But it's a marketplace of mad people. So jeez, what those guys do there?
They watch them. But there's this guy, one police guy, they call him Oncha, a fair guy like that. Once he's there, you see everybody maintain, they will behave because he doesn't collect money from them. But these MOT guys collect money from them, so they don't fear them. So if there's a way, maybe pay them better, I don't know, pay them better, or rejig the entire thing, bring in new persons who will do the work of making sure that there is no traffic obstruction anywhere. If there is a punishment for people who disobey the traffic or disobey traffic rules, if there's a punishment, let it be known. And if someone fails to obey disobeys the traffic rule, let the person pay. And let it not be a negotiation along the road.
Along the road, yes.
You know, let it not be once they catch you, they take you to one particular joint and then you give them something.
So practically, mechanism should be put in place to even check
the guys
of the officers.
Yes, so that particular aim with which they were established.
Yeah.
You know, and then let the street lights work. Let the traffic lights work. I mean, let them work, because if it's not working, then.
Okay, Jude, practically, let's, before we conclude, the saying, when citizens fail to do their job, government becomes irresponsible. And there's this premium attention we place on the federal government. Yes, the federal government holds almost all the cards in Nigeria, but let's not negate the role of the state governments. Now the fuel subsidy has gone, according to them actually, and fuel price has quadrupled. Like, it has doubled more than 200%. Now, what role do you think state governments, now let's streamline it down to Southeast. Our concern is Southeast Nigeria. Our concern is the welfare of the average Igbo guy living down here. Now, what do you think Southeast governors should start thinking to help cushion the effect on the people? We talk about minimum wage increase. Some people talk about minimum wage increase. Some states are still struggling to pay the last increase minimum wage. And you and I know that with this subsidy removal, every single thing we said about that minimum wage increase has been rubbished. So, what do you think? What could be your suggestion if you should sit with these governors and advise them? Be your suggestion, in as much as we know that perhaps they even know what to do, but greed might not allow them to do it. Some salient politics might not allow them to do it. But based on the cry of the time, what do you think should be the core focus of every governor to help cushion this effect and help people bounce back? Because this thing is going to drive people more into poverty.
Yes, before I go into that, there's this thing the administration of Hawaii did that I want Mbah to continue. Partnership with foreign organizations. You know, there are projects like the ramp. Hawaii used ramp well, although there were places where some people expected him to tar some of the roads done by ramp. You know, Mbah should also invest in some of these foreign partnerships. I think it goes a long way in helping. And then back to what the Southeast governors should do. You know, recently the federal government said, okay, states, you can generate power on your own. You can do a lot of things. You know, you can go into some certain things on your own as a government. That is partial restructuring of the country. So he has partially restructured. So I want the Southeast governors to tap into these areas. You know, if there is light, the people can be productive. And when they are productive, it cushions the effect of whether fuel or no fuel. You know, when the people have the money to spend, you know, it won't be, we are feeling it like this because there's no money anywhere.
Yeah.
And the thing is just going up. But if you're productive, if people are productive, if the money is there, you won't feel it as we are feeling it now. So the Southeast governors should, and electricity is very, we are businessmen, we are productive. There are a lot of persons who depend on this electricity to survive. And if you're not spending on fuel, you're not spending on gas, you're not spending on this thing, it has a way of showing up what you have. You know, again, tax cuts. This issue of multiple taxation is everywhere in the Southeast. It's everywhere in Enugu, in Anambra, in Abia, in Imo. Everywhere in the Southeast. So the government should intentionally see how to manage this tax issue, reduce it to the barest minimum, so that when you make gain from what you're doing, it stays with you.
Exactly.
It don't. people don't just come and take away whatever you're getting. You know, so these are the things. If the government can reduce tax on the people, you know, open up the market, bring in foreign investors, you know, let the money flow, build industry, just as I said, I recommended for Mbah, build industries, get people employed. People are working, people, they have a source of livelihood. Train people in skills. People, you can go out and make money and come back. If people are making money, if they are financially stable, you won't feel what is 600 naira, what is 500 naira per liter. You won't feel it. Exactly. Because you have a steady income. Money is there, it's circulating, it's just there. Let the money not just circulate among contractors and government apologists.
Just
people,
like we say.
Yes.
wealth without enterprise.
Without enterprise. Let it not just be. Let people work and earn money. And when they do, whatever subsidy, whatever this thing, we won't feel it.
Of course.
And so I believe if they do that, if they're able to tackle those issues, you know, it will go a long way in cushioning the effects of whatever subsidy that was.
Thank you so much, Jude, for this conversation. I really appreciate your input. Like, it's quite resourceful, and I hope the government is listening.
I believe they listen. They don't have a choice. They have to listen.
Of course.
They have to listen.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Remember, my name is Chikezie Ogbonna O, and this is The Conversation in partnership with Choice Flame Newspaper, Catholic Diocese of Enugu, narrator and the CEO. With me in this conversation is Jude, who is Enugu-based journalist, publisher, and a media strategist. Thank you so much, bro, for coming around.
Thank you.
And thank you for my lady behind the camera, Chinenye DK. So see you guys next time on The Conversation. Bye.